Hurricane Lee is set to hit an area between Alabama, Mississippi, Georgia, and Florida. The storm is aiming to make landfall at the northern Gulf Coast of the United States. The devastation of the hurricane can be extensive if it follows its current course and intensity. Strong winds, heavy downpours, and flooding could cause significant destruction if the region is not informed and prepared. Weather officials have advised people in the predicted path of the storm to take the necessary precautions and prepare for the worst-case scenario. This includes purchasing supplies for the stormy weather, staying informed, and evacuating if possession is too dangerous. The potential impacts of the hurricane include strong winds up to 80 miles per hour, rainfall totals of 10 inches or more, and flooding of coastal areas. Additionally, storm surge warnings have been issued due to the increased risk of flooding. Some people in harm's way have chosen to evacuate the area until the storm passes. Those remaining are advised to stay indoors during the storm and avoid flooded areas. It is also important to listen to the instructions of local government officials. Locals and visitors in the region should stay tuned to local weather forecasts to stay updated on the situation. It is also important to pay attention to flash flood warnings, as well as tropical storm and hurricane warnings issued by the National Hurricane Center. Preparations should be made in advance to minimize the impacts of the storm. Stocking up on supplies, securing all belongings, and prepping for flooding are just a few of the steps that should be taken to ready a home and family for a storm. People are now on high alert as the storm nears landfall, and they await Hurricane Lee's arrival. It can be difficult to predict the course and intensity of a storm, but all signs point to significant impact if the hurricane hits its current path. Forecasters have suggested that the storm could hit anywhere from the central coastline of Mississippi to the eastern coast of Alabama. If the storm stays the current course, it could hit anywhere from Mobile to Panama City. The Gulf Coast region is now bracing for impact as Hurricane Lee barrels towards it. Prudent action and quick response as needed is key to minimizing the destruction and loss of life this hurricane could cause. People near the Gulf Coast need to remain vigilant and cognizant of the fact that the storm could hit at any moment. It is important to stay alert and listen to the instructions of weather officials and emergency personnel. Economic impact could be severe if the storm hits in the wrong areas. Damage to property, livelihoods, and the tourism industry could be devastating, depending on the storm's intensity and exact path. Environmental damage could be significant, depending on the force of the storm. Flooding could cause damage to natural habitats, fisheries, and the overall wildlife of the region. Despite the uncertainty of the storm, officials will do their best to protect the region from its destructive swirls. It is now more important than ever to be prepared for the worst-case scenario and make sure the necessary safety measures are followed. In order to keep as safe as possible, it is important to know the expected effects of the storm. Check in often with local and national news sources for hurricane updates, and prepare supplies and an emergency plan for evacuation. Purchasing a full tank of gas, non-perishable food, and first aid essentials are just a few preparations that should be taken to ready for the storm. It is also important to check batteries and flashlights for needed items. property owners should make sure their homes are ready for any damage or flooding that may occur. People should also stay away from standing flood waters and monitor the evacuation process if requested. It is important to stay vigilant and be aware of any new warnings issued by the National Hurricane Center. Adjusting as needed is key to being prepared and minimizing impacts during Hurricane Lee. Although it is impossible to predict the exact path and intensity of a hurricane, individuals living in a Gulf Coast region should take the necessary steps to stay as safe as possible. Preparation and quick response as needed is important to get out of harm's way should Hurricane Lee choose to hit the region. People should sign up for codes, alerts, and instructions from their local authorities to stay informed. Coast Guard patrol vessels, National Guard personnel, and Marine units are all on alert and ready to respond if needed. People should also keep an eye out for volunteers and organizations mobilizing in response to the storm. Hurricane Lee is expected to move through the region slowly, causing rain and high winds, which can uproot trees, damage power lines, and cause structural damage. People should be sure to avoid fallen power lines and possible tornadoes that may spot. Weather and safety officials have warned that the effects of a hurricane can weaken its vector, but they can also strengthen the intensity and speed. Hurricane Lee is still unpredictable at this point, and many are nervous for its possible arrival. Depending on the location, wind gusts can reach up to 90 miles per hour, with the highest winds in the eye wall. These wind bursts are highly destructive and people should take the utmost caution and avoid them if possible. People should be aware of the forecast and respond accordingly to stay safe. If the storm intensifies, people should adjust their evacuation plans and supply checklists accordingly.